Hello, welcome. I'm here today to just give you a quick rundown on Materia in Final Fantasy VII. Just gonna be a brief little video, no big production values or anything like that. We're just gonna jump right into it. These are the basics of Materia. So when you start the game, you do not have the Materia menu available to you. You get it right before you start the second mission to the number 5 reactor in Midgar. Because Barrett's a big doofus, and he doesn't understand materia, so he puts you in charge of it, and you get the menu option at that point. You start off the game with very little materia, but as you go through, you'll find a ton more, and you can also create more, and we'll get into that later. So the basics of the materia menu are this. On this menu, you have several things going on. The first thing I want to go over are these two menu options right here. Check, fairly useless. I mean, all it does is show you how your battle menu changes depending on the materia you have attached. So because I have summons and enemy skills, I have commands for that on the battle menu. If I take those off and check again, those items disappear. So it's really just a way to see how different materia is going to change your battle menu before you're actually in a battle. I don't find it that useful. I don't really use check for anything, but that's what it's there for. The arrange menu is much more useful. You've got 4 sub menu options under arrange. So if you go down to arrange and tick it, you get this little 4 option menu here. We'll start at the bottom. Trash does what it says it does. It trashes your materia, it gets rid of it, it throws it out of your menu, it disappears forever, you don't get any money for it. It's literally like throwing it in the trash. And that's it. I've never used trash. The materia list is long. I've leveled every materia in this game up to master. I've had tons of materia. I've had copies of pretty much every materia. I've never felt the need to use trash. Now, what I will do is go to a town and sell my mastered materia for big money. To me, that's way more useful than trashing it. But if you find yourself in a bind, you're doing some major level grinding, and you just find yourself with tons of materia, you can always trash something. That's all that is. Remove all removes all the materia from your party members. Just like that. Easy, quick way to get all the materia off of a given party member. Exchange is an extremely useful menu. It opens up this screen where you can see all your characters, you can see which slots they have on their weapons and armors, and you can move the materia around between them without, oops, without using the PHS. So you don't have to use the PHS to flip your materia around. You can do it right here. Kind of frustration free. It would suck if you had to use the PHS every time you wanted to switch people's materia around. So this is an easy way to do that. And the most useful option, arrange. Now before I use arrange, I just want to show you. I've cheated myself in every materia in the game for the purpose of this video. This is not a game file I'm actually using, it's a copy of a file that I am playing on my stream, www.twitch.tv/RUFAUS. Check me out. But see, they're all down here, and then some of these up here that I've taken off my characters, they're all out of order. So what you can do with the arrange menu option is tick that, and it puts all your materia in order by color. So it starts off, you've got all your green magic materia, and then you've got all your blue support materia, your yellow command materia, your purple independent materia, and your red summon materia. And it puts it all in order. If you've got 2 of one, they'll be right there together. You can see every materia you have, and even with every materia in the game, you see all the extra space there is on this list. And there's still a ton of space. So that's a real quick and easy way. The arrange option, I use it all the time. It's my best friend. And that's really all there is menu-wise in the materia section here. Now, what's left is the slots themselves. As you can see, Yuffie, or rather Shaboink's weapon, the Twin Viper, has 4 single materia slots. And down here, her armor, the Carbon Bangle, has 3 materia slots, 2 of which are linked. And that goes for all the characters. Clerd's Force Stealer has 3 single slots, and his 4 slots armlet has 4 single slots. TIE Fight's Platinum Fist has 4 single slots, and her silver armlet has 4 slots, 2 of which are linked. What about linked materia slots, I hear you asking? Well, let me tell you. Before we get into that, let me also talk about materia growth. So under the weapons menu here, as you can see, Cloud's Force Stealer there's his 3 slots, the same 3 slots we saw in the materia menu, but under that we have growth. Double means you get double AP for every materia in those slots. TIE Fight's Platinum Fist is also a double growth weapon, so every materia in those 4 slots is going to get double the AP, and Shaboink's Twin Viper also has 4 double growth slots. Growth, again, is how much AP your materia gets. Doubled, it can even be tripled. Although triple growth weapons are very rare, and there's only 2 characters that have them. Most everyone has at least a couple of double growth weapons. The problem with double growth weapons is they almost never have linked slots. There might be 1 or 2 that have a linked slot, but usually they're all single slots. So it makes it a little harder to level up your support materia, because support materia is useless if it's not linked with another materia. And we'll get into that in a second. But you can't always put a support materia in a single slot. It's not going to do anything, but you can level it up just by having it in the slot, whether it's being useful or not. So if you're desperate to level up those support materia, you can put them there, but just know that they're not going to do anything. There are a couple of armors in the game that have double growth materia slots. I think the Rune Armlet is one of them. Both Cloud and Sid each have 1 triple growth weapon. I think they only have 2 slots in them. So you really have to choose which materia you want to level up. If you have a lot of command materia have a ton of AP that it takes to level them. So it can be really useful to put those in those triple growth weapons and just go nuts. Now, something to note, when you master a materia, it gives birth to a new, fresh baby materia of the same type. So if you master fire, you'll get a brand new 0 level fire materia, which you can then level up if you're in grinding mode, and you can have yourself a mastered fire materia for every character if you wanted to. And that's where the trash thing comes in handy. If you're really leveling up the hell out of your materia and you just end up with way more than you need, and there's not a shop nearby, go ahead and trash some of the new stuff, I guess. You can always buy more of a lot of it. I would only trash things I could buy, like your basic elementals and stuff. Anyway, let's get back into materia itself. So, one thing that you need to know about materia is, if you look to the left side of the screen there, you'll see where it says Ultima. And of course, shield says shield, full cure says full cure, contain says contain, and then under that you can see the list of abilities that contain has, because it has 3 different spell types as you level it up, and all this. But if you go down, if we go to gravity here, you'll see that it has yellow text underneath gravity that also says gravity, and poison has poison under it. Lightning has lightning, earth has earth, ice has ice, fire, fire. And there are summons that also have this. Not every summon does. Knights of the Round and Bahamut Zero does not. Typhon has wind. Phoenix has fire. Alexander has holy. Leviathan water. Titan earth. Rama lightning. Ifrit fire. Shiva ice. And Chokomog wind. Now, what do these yellow words mean, you might be asking? I'll tell you. Those yellow words are the element affinity of that particular materia. For example, there is no wind materia in the game. There's no normal magic materia that inflicts wind damage. Chokomog and who was it? Who was the other wind boy? Typhoon. Chokomog and Typhoon are the only 2 materia that will cast wind damage on enemies. Likewise, Alexander is the only materia in the game that has the holy attribute, which is good against undead creatures, but Alexander's a bit of a pain in the ass to get. But if you really want to hurt those undead enemies, he's your guy. And also, there's no water materia in the game, so Leviathan is the only materia in the game that inflicts water damage. Now, what does this mean? Why does it matter? Why does it matter that gravity has gravity on it and poison has poison on it? Well, I'll tell you. This is where your support materias come in. So, poison's a good example because it has a lot of attributes on it. If you put it on your armor and you pair it with the elemental materia, then you will receive defense against poison magics. If someone does any kind of attack, it's not just magics, it's attacks. If someone attacks you with a poison based attack or uses poison based magic on you, this setup will help defend you against that. It's not going to stop poison from being inflicted on you, but it will reduce the damage you get from the outright poison element. Because there's a difference between effects and elements, but only a slight difference. Additionally, let's say you want to, let's pretend like she has some linked slots up here. Let's say you want to deal poison damage to somebody. If I can find my poison materia again. Pretend these are link slots, we'll just pretend, because I'm not going to switch the weapons right now, I'm too lazy for that. With this setup, every time Shaboink deals damage to an enemy weak against poison, she will do extra poison damage to that enemy. She won't inflict poison, but if the enemy is weak to the poison element, she'll do extra damage to that enemy with whatever weapon she has equipped, so long as these are linked slots. Now, on the flip side of that, we have the added effect materia. So let's just say, let's switch this around so it's less confusing. So added effect and poison on your armor means that instead of the element poison, we are now defending against the poison effect. So you have a higher defensive chance of not being afflicted with poison if you have this combination on your armor. Likewise, for the weapon, you have a chance of inflicting the poison effect on an enemy whenever you attack with a weapon with this combination on it. So, and poison is unique in that it both has an effect and an element. Not all materia does. Fire does not have an effect. It only has an element. So you'll do extra fire damage to an enemy if you attack it with a fire elemental combo, but if you have a fire added effect combo, it's not going to cast fire on the enemy. Poison is fairly unique in that it has both an effect and an elemental. And keep in mind, yellow text is the element. Now, for these materia that do not have yellow text, like let's say transform, having this combination on your armor means that enemies will have far less of a chance to be able to successfully cast any transform-based spells on you. Alright, if you have the elemental materia here, you're not going to get anything out of it because transform does not have yellow text under it, so it has no element. These materia, anything without an element on it is going to work better with added effect. Anything that is effect only, like transform and mystify and seal, all this will make you defensive against these particular effects. Likewise, if you put it on your weapon, you can have a chance to inflict those effects on the creatures that you attack as long as they're weak to it and can actually be affected by those effects in the first place. And those right there pretty much are the basics of materia. And supports are very important. Supports are some of the most important materia in the game, but like I said, they're not really effective if they're not paired with something. Not all support materia works for every materia. For example, the counter materia specifically works with yellow command materia. It says it right there. If you attach a yellow command materia to counter and you take damage, there's a chance that you will use whatever command is attached to that counter materia. Magic counter is the same. It specifically counterattacks with magic or summon materia that it's attached to when you're attacked. MP Turbo uses extra MP to beef up the power of your magic materia. I think it works for summons as well, even though it doesn't say that. MP Absorb and HP Absorb is the same. It works for magic and summons. Most of these supports are only going to work with magic and summons unless they specifically say otherwise, like counter. Additionally, keep an eye on your all materia, because all materia is useless if you attach it to Ultima, because Ultima already hits every enemy on the screen. Having an all materia equipped to Ultima is pointless. I don't think all works with shield and full cure either. There's super strong magic spells. They do not work with all. Contain, I don't think works with all either, but most every other magic materia that doesn't inflict damage on every enemy on the screen or isn't super high level OP in the first place, they'll work with all. Comet 2 doesn't work with all because it already attacks everyone. I don't think Comet works with all either. It's always going to do damage to one creature until you level it up to Comet 2, even if you have an all attached to it. I think. That's the one thing I'm unclear on. I don't remember. It's been a while. And then, of course, your yellow materia, your command materia. Fairly important enemy skill. I would always suggest having it on you, on some character, at least one character, or you're going to miss some enemy skills. You know, this one is one I cheated in, so it's got everything on it. This is the one I'm actually leveling up. I've actually got more stuff on this because this file has proceeded past the point I'm on right now. But yeah, the yellow materia, very useful, but they have extremely high AP caps to level them up. 40,000 AP is a lot. It takes a long time to level these up. These are good ones to put in your double and triple materia slots so they level up faster. Independent materias are, as the name implies, they're independent. They don't need to be attached to anything. They can just be hovering out here in these slots. They work well all on their own. Mega All is one that you find very late in the game. You put that on your character, you don't have to use any all materia. Every other materia equipped on this character, no matter whether it's weapon or armor, if it has the ability to be used with all, it's going to have the all command attached to it. And most of these just, they give you some kind of extra little boost. You know, HP, speed, magic. They're good. And of course the summons are your big boys. They work with a lot of good materia combinations. I'm not going to go into detail on combinations. I just wanted to give a basic rundown of the materia system. And I think that I have covered just about all the basics at this point. To me, it's more fun if you go through and try combinations for yourself. You know, why should I sit here and tell you what to do? Now that you know how the menu works, now that you know what it means to have an elemental combination on your armor versus an added effect combination on your weapon and vice versa, I think you're well equipped to do this on your own. So I am not going to get super into all the minutia of materia, but there's a lot you can do with it. It's very versatile, and because it's the same for every character, you've got that going for you. Now, I do want to mention one more thing before I go. This is something to watch out for. Under the Ultima, you can see there, under Equip Effect, all materia, well, most all magic and summon materia affect your character's vitals. So Ultima gives you -4 on strength, -2 on vitality, but it boosts your magic and magic defense by 4 and 2 respectively, but your max HP is going to go down 10 whole percent, while your max MP goes up 10%. And 10%'s a lot. So if you're not leveling up your characters, like, just watch. If I add this Ultima to TIE Fight, watch her max HP. It goes from 1299 to 1170. And that's a pretty big drop for early in the game. So you want to be careful with the late game materia. If you haven't level grind, if you're low level, you want to be really careful. The more materia you equip, the more that HP is going to go down to the point that she's gone from, you know, what she had to 780, just from equipping 4 high level materia. So you do want to keep an eye on that. You don't want to be too crazy with materia, but the weaker materia, as you can see down here, we start getting to some of the earlier game materia. it has far less of an effect on your stats. And summons are the same way. Some of the independents give you some boosts, like for example, cover. This cover only has 2 stars, so it only gives you a 40% chance of covering an ally. At 1 star, it's 20% chance. At 5 stars, you've got a 100% chance. You're always going to cover your allies. Be careful with a mastered cover. Same with some of these other ones have the same kind of thing. Where are they? Luck plus, a mastered one gives you 50% luck. Master magic gives you 50% magic. Dexterity. The HP plus, as you can see, this one only has 1 star, so it only gives you 10% max HP. But mastered, it gives you 50%, so that's a big difference. HP plus, MP plus, those are very important materia. You want to get those, you want to level them up. Summons affect stats a little more costly. You get a lot of magic buffs, but you lose a lot of HP. 10 to 5%, and then your super low level summons, you only lose 2%. That's not a big deal. Just be aware of that. You want to be aware of that. And Materia being born, of course, I already mentioned that when you master it, it creates a baby level 1 version of itself. So you can really, you can have materia, the same materia on all your party members. Some of this stuff stacks. This is the last thing I'm going to mention before I call it quits on this, because I think I've explained enough. Final attack will stack. If you have final attack and something attached to your character, and you have several of them attached to the same character, they can all trigger. Same with the HP plus. See how it boosted her up to 1948 from 1299 to 1948, and if I put another one on her, she goes up to 2078. Things like this will stack. So just play with it, see what stacks, see what doesn't, and you can do some really good stuff with materia in this game, and I hope I've helped to equip you to the point that you can make your own fancy materia combinations. Thanks for watching. Check me out on Twitch, www.twitch.tv/RUFAUS. Hey, have a good day, and I'll see you around.